Jim Moran, thanks for joining us for Washington Business Report. We are taping this on Friday, January 2nd, officially your last day as a member of Congress. You pretty much already, though, been kicked out of your office space. We're at St. Elmo's Cafe. But this is perfect because this is kind of where you got started in Delray.
Yeah.
Talk to us about what it feels like. You feel like you're presiding over your own funeral, doing all of these interviews about 35 years in public service?
Well, actually, it's been a very nice victory lap of sorts. I've gotten a number of lifetime legacy award things, and it's been gratifying. Although I have to say, if everybody that has said they have voted for me for 35 years actually did,
you wouldn't have had a campaign.
I would have
so
had
hard.
100%, electoral victories. But it's not. Everybody has been very nice about it.
Every time I talk to you, you are enormously frustrated by the current state of Congress. How badly broken is it? Can it be fixed?
Well, sure, it can be fixed, and it has to be fixed. This country has to function. And
But will it?
Yeah, it will over time. Part of the problem is that the Congress is doing exactly what many constituents want it to do, which is nothing. A lot of people have voted for members of Congress because they didn't want them to get anything done. They sort of want a dysfunctional Congress because they don't feel that this government represents their interests. And so unfortunately, we have too many people with that objective in mind to just say no to everything.
That's a very good point, but the way that the system's working now, you don't even get to debate and fully discuss the issues to decide whether or not we should have fewer laws, a smaller government. It's just all gridlock and not even debate.
That's right, and part of that is the way the Congress is structured. You have a Rules Committee, as you well know, Rebecca, and the best amendments are not allowed on the floor. You oftentimes have closed rules, and you can only vote bills up or down many times, certainly the most important ones like taxes and the like. And the amendments that would fix it, that would pass with bipartisan votes, are not allowed on the floor because there are many people who want that kind of partisanship. It helps to raise money. It creates a more divisive electorate. It's helpful to some people to have a polarized Congress and a polarized electorate. It's helpful to some people in the media.
Well, I was going to say, where do you point to all of this beginning? Do you trace it to more fundraising? Do you trace it to the calendar where members are less in Washington? Other people point to the rule system. Other people point to the media and say, we've made it so shrill that no one's talking to each other. What do you point to?
Rebecca, the answer is all of the above. I was in the Congress in the 1990s when we got a lot of things done. Notwithstanding the so-called Gingrich Congress, which I think did change things. It took a while, but there was a pivot to nationalizing congressional elections. Over time, we've taken away the ability of individual members of Congress to deliver anything for their district. And so the only way to get reelected is to run on national issues and to be able to attract money from outside. And then you have a media that benefits really from this kind of polarization that is taking place. You have an echo chamber. On the right, you've got Fox News and hate radio, I call it, and on the left you've got MSNBC and to some extent public radio.
One of the things, I'm still learning things about you, and I feel like I thought I knew everything about you, but thanks to the False Church News Press, you told them that you were shy, and they had the same reaction I did, which is, Jim Moran shy? You said you were so shy when you first ran for office that your kids were mortified because you fainted twice when you had to do public speaking.
I froze. I memorized my speech, and it started with this terrible joke, and I could see it wasn't going over, and gosh, I just fainted. And there was the Red Cross volunteer groups, and they revived me with smelling salts. I got up, and all I knew was what I had memorized, and I tried again, and I fainted a second time. And I remember the second time I was going down, seeing my daughter with her hands over her ears and my son with his head between his knees, wishing that, you know, the floor would just swallow up their daddy. And then the second group that was willing to invite me to speak was the volunteer firefighters. And I started babbling because I was so nervous, and I started talking about these smoke alarms and so on. We're not going to really have a need for as many firefighters and so on. And I could see they were talking to each other, and what is he talking about? And I fainted, and they carried me out on a stretcher.
If someone came to you now, a small businessman or a person with a local concern, and said, how can I most effectively be heard by Congress, influence Congress? The process has changed so much. What would you tell them are the ways to still be effective in influencing federal legislation?
Yeah, well, people have far more leverage than they realize. First of all, number one, do your homework, so you know what you're talking about. People that come to see me with an issue, and it's clear I know more about the issue than they do, and they really didn't make the effort to understand both sides of the issue, it's disappointing, and it's not effective. So do your homework. Secondly, speak out within a neighborhood. Bounce your ideas off people and get other points of view. Then try to express yourself in letters to the editor, write letters to members of Congress. And if you are a constituent, you have leverage, because most members, most elected officials understand that it's not just the majority of people who vote for them, who keep them in office. What really matters is the intensity of the people who are going to be engaged. Those people that feel intensely about issues make an enormous difference. If they know an issue, if they speak up, those are the ones you have to watch. It's not the people that sort of sit on the sidelines most of the time and may or may not vote at election time. It's the people that get engaged. Those are the people you need to watch, and you need to be conscious of what they're thinking and what they're caring about.
Tim Moran, thanks for joining us on Washington Business Report.
Thank you.